went through a whole marriage that was super draining. So introducing him to the world, it will be a while. Maybe once we're official. And
actually kind of been thinking about reaching out to Gil.
Oh my God. Has Gil not suffered enough? Why do the producers feel it's necessary for them to match Dom and Gil? I it, I know it's producer driven. I don't think it's Dom out of the blue suddenly saying she wants Gil, because she didn't need to go on Married at First Sight in order to meet Gil. She had already seen him on Married at First Sight. She could have just approached him in his DMs and then taken it from there. Unless she was trying to approach him in his DMs and he wasn't responding, so she decided to go to the show. I don't see any reason why she needed to do that. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, it's your girl Valerie. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 22. If you're new to my channel, please leave a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. So the episode starts with Nicole and Chris. They are the only couple that chose to stay married. So they are getting ready to go to a friend's wedding in New York. And Nicole is very excited to go and show off Chris. And it's like, I personally think it's just a matter of time before we hear that they're divorced. I think the only reason why they would continue to stay married is because Nicole puts in a lot of pressure for them to stay married, because Chris doesn't seem like he's really in it, and everything about them is very awkward. I understand people can be awkward because they've, this is a new marriage, they've just recently met and stuff, but something about them doesn't feel right. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but something about them as a couple doesn't feel right. I don't think they're being genuine. I think they're both trying to put their best foot forward. And in trying to put their best foot forward, the day the blinders come off and they really see who they're married to, I really doubt this marriage will survive. I'm starting a petition. Next season, we don't need to see somebody's business. If they're going to get someone who's a business owner to get married to a stranger, we don't need to see their business. We don't need to hear about their business, because that is all we've heard from Gina. So in this episode, her mom comes to pick up Hank from her hair salon, and they have to show us the name of the salon. Obviously, this is marketing for her. She's done this all season. That's all she's spoken about. And surprisingly, we haven't seen her do anyone's hair, or unless I missed it, I haven't seen her do anyone's hair. And just she's talking about going to conduct a class and stuff. And it's like, if you're that amazing a hairdresser, why don't you show us you doing somebody's hair? Even to cut Clint's hair, she had to take him to a friend. Why didn't she do it herself to show off her skill set? If this is what she's going to do, instead of talking about your salon, actually show us what your salon does, so that we see that you're actually good at what you do. Don't waste our time talking about something that you're not willing to demonstrate. Anyway, it really grinds me up. We later see her with her friends go saying they're going to conduct this conference or whatever. I don't get it. I didn't get Clint and Dom meet up. I really didn't get it. Apart from the fact that they were just meeting up to tell each other that, oh, your ex is dating my ex. That's all they were doing. And obviously they had a conversation with Dom saying she's thinking of approaching Gil. And it's like, why? Why? What has Gil done to deserve this? Why? If you were that interested in Gil, why did you not approach him without ever applying for the show? Because on the show, you were not portrayed in the best of lights. So I don't think Gil deserves to be matched with someone who's a Merla 2.0. That's all she comes across as, because she's very demanding. She's got these standards that she will want him to meet, which is the problem that he had with Merla. So why should he even entertain her? I know Clint encouraged her to send him a message and stuff, but still, I think they should have left Gil alone. I think it's producer driven, because last time with Olivia be matched up with Chris in the previous season, where there was a very nice person, and I think they did the same thing with Gil. They brought him in saying, oh, he's going to be an ideal match for Dom. And it's like, why? If you people cannot find someone a spouse, don't waste our time bringing them back a season later to say they're being matched with someone who's divorced. She's been divorced a while. Why didn't she do that off camera? Why did she need to come on camera to suddenly say she's interested in Gil? I think this was producer driven, and I'm going to stick to that. Jasmine goes apartment shopping with Kirsten, and I don't know. I didn't quite get it. I don't know why she's looking for a place, unless they just did it just so that they could get some scenes to shoot for the show, because she's been living with her parents, and then she moved out when she got married. I think she needed to stay at home with her parents for a bit just to sort of get herself back together before she decided to move on with somebody else. I think knowing that Kirsten is a realtor, I think she should have been the one showing the house to um, Jasmine. I know they did ask her to show a house to um, Mac in the previous episode, but still, I don't know. There's a good idea for her to move out. Kirsten was saying it might be a better idea for her to buy her own place, which I totally agree with. Kirsten is looking into buying a home next year. Well, I assume it's this year. And I think Kirsten is really struggling, and she's putting on a front. I think she's really struggling with the breakup because I think it's something she did not see coming, and I think this is why she's sort of in this space whereby she's sort of just going through the motions. She's not making sort of concrete decisions in anything she does. I think she's decided she wants to move on from Shaquille because she's hurt and she's very upset. But I think at the moment she's just trying to get through every day. And she was right to tell Jasmine that she needs to buy her own place if she's looking to get a place. I think Jasmine should still stay with her parents and raise enough money to put down for a mortgage and then move out. And it was sweet that Shaq's grandma sadly passed away, and Kirsten actually reached out to him to sort of say she put aside her anger, she put aside, everything she's going through, sort of reach out to him to sort of express her condolences, which I have to commend her for. And this is what he was looking for: someone who's supportive, someone who'll love him, someone who's caring, and yet he left her. I know she's made mistakes at the start, but she did try her best to change and be the type of wife that he wanted, and sadly he couldn't recognize that, so he's lost. I don't even know why we needed to see the Aries and Maxine. Just a waste of time. I think this was a fearless episode. That's the impression that I'm getting, because all the stuff we're being shown is not necessary. Is not necessary. The stuff that they cut throughout the season is the bits that they should have been showing us instead of whatever they're showing us and they think we want to see. Well, because Aries and Mac were having a conversation about Mac's relationship with Gina and the fact that he's moving out of town, he's got a job, which is something that Dom was complaining about, that she didn't feel he was going to set roots in Nashville and he was just there for the show. And once the show left, he would be moving on. And I think this is a bit of redemption for Dom, in the sense that she complained that Mac didn't seem like he was willing to set roots. The reason why he was staying with his friend's family was because he was only in Nashville temporarily and would be moving away, which he seems to be doing now that he's found a job that he likes. Although he says he's interested in Gina, he wants to see if Gina is willing to sort of have a long distance relationship, and he's attracted to the fact that she's a business person. And it's like, that's not good enough reason. I'm sorry. That's not good enough reason for you to say you're interested in someone. There should be a lot more there. You should be saying a lot more about her than what he's actually saying. So I don't get that. I don't know why Eris was sent to meet up with Clint and with Mac. Anyway, with Clint, they meet Clint's friends. They have a conversation with them. The friends are sort of asking, you guys were in this experiment for 8 weeks. In the 8 weeks, what have you learned? And Eris is like, oh, I normally run away from tough conversations. So I've learned to sort of tough it out, to sit down and have a conversation and actually try and work through difficult stuff that I might be going through in a relationship. I didn't get what Clint said or what he meant. I think to some extent he was sort of saying he learned not to be superficial. Well, that's the impression that I got. I think that's what he said, that he learned to stop being superficial and dig a bit deeper when it comes to dating, and not just be focused on what someone looks like, but also get to know the person and their character, or something to that extent. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it does make sense. After all, Gina judged you by your hair color, and she never forgave you for that just because you were a redhead. Nicole and Chris go to play a game, and it's just like, oh my god. I don't know why that relationship is going to need a lot of work. It's going to need a lot of counseling in order for it to work. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I might be wrong. There might be a lot more that they have in common that we're not seeing, and maybe that's the reason why they've decided to get married. They do talk about, wanting to go and see the rest of their family, for Nicole to meet the rest of Chris's family and friends, and then for them to go and see Nicole's dad. So I don't know. Okay. Which producer did they use to stand in as pretend boyfriend for Jasmine? I want to know which producer did they use, because this is the first time we haven't seen somebody's face. So which producer did they use to pretend to be Jasmine's boyfriend? Because the way they were holding hands as they were going up the stairs, it was as though somebody said, okay, hold hands now and scene, let's go. And even the way they were having a conversation, I think it's one of the producers, or I think it's a paid actor that was brought in to stand in and pretend to be Jasmine's boyfriend. If she didn't want the world to see him, why then go on a date with him? Why didn't she ask to film something else? This doesn't make sense. I know they want to give us closure, but the math ain't mathing. It doesn't make any sense that she would bring someone on the show and have that person parade as her pretend boyfriend and not want the world to see his face. The internet, people will find him. I think it's a producer, and I'm going to stick by that. That I think it's a producer. Nicole and Chris go furniture shopping. Watching Nicole and Chris is like watching paint dry. Their sort of disagreement about how much they intend to spend on a sofa is just shocking. Before they signed the lease agreement, they should have agreed on how much they're willing to pay rent, how much they're willing to pay for furnishings to furnish that apartment. So it doesn't make sense to me that someone is saying they're prepared to pay 8,000 and the other person is prepared to pay 1 to 2,000. The math ain't mathing. That's too big a gap for them to bridge. And Chris is saying some marriages have broken down because of their finances. This is why I said they're not being genuine in their relationship, and the possibility of that relationship breaking down are very high, and I still stand by that. I'm going to ask again, what's the purpose of this episode, really? What is the purpose of this episode? Anyway, Clint goes on a date. One of his friends set him up with a lady who's a redhead. And I think for him, he was excited that at least that topic is out of the way. And then halfway through the date, she tells him, he asks her, what are your turn-offs? And she went, redheads. And it's like, why would you do that to him? You know he's a redhead. You know he's gone through quite a lot with Gina because of that. And then if you're his friend, why set him up on someone who's going to bring that up again? And he was actually shocked because they said it's just the hair color, which it is. She says, oh, well, because people automatically assume I'm related to anyone who's a redhead. And it's like, oh, please. Just tell him you don't like him. He's not your type. You don't have that spark, and he'll be fine. There's no need to bring him down. There's really no need for that. And Gina goes on a date with Mac. I think Gina and Mac have been dating. That's the impression that I got. I think they've been dating throughout the season. This is why Gina was refusing to do anything with Clint, because she was already busy DMing Mac because of their conversation that they were having. And the fact that they had to bring down their ex-partners didn't make sense to me. Mac said he wasn't attracted to Dom as much as he's attracted to Gina. Gina said, Clint didn't have any style. And it's like, if the two of you like each other, then like each other and talk about your relationship. You don't need to bring anyone else down. Focus on what is working for the two of you, and that's it. So Gina brought up the fact that, Dom, one of the reasons she was upset about Mac was the fact that he didn't seem like he wanted to stay in Nashville permanently. And he proved Dom right by saying, oh, I've already accepted a job back home where he came from. And it's like, so why did you even move? Did you just come to be on the show? And then once the show was done, you went back? I don't get them saying, oh, we're attracted to one another because we're business people. That doesn't make sense to me. So the girls meet up to pick flowers. It's Jasmine, Kirsten, Dom, and Nicole. Gina is still traveling the world, teaching whatever she's teaching. The guys meet up, except Shaq, because Shaq is gone. He's grieving his grandmother. And it was interesting to see the conversation. What do you expect from Clint and Aries? They have to talk about sex. So they asked each other, have you had sex since decision day? And it's like they were waiting. They were waiting for decision day to go out there and just be back in the streets and do them. And they seemed fine with that. Dom spoke about the fact that, she was interested in Gail. And I still maintain, I know the girls were excited for her. I still think Gail doesn't need Dom. I think if you watch the season, Dom is not it for him. I think he needs to keep pushing and he needs to keep trying elsewhere. I don't think Kirsten is the right girl. I understand he did say on Couples Catch that he was interested in Kirsten. Kirsten is still stuck on Shaq. Even when she met with her life coach, you can tell she's still trying to process. I know she told the girls that she's really wants to sit down with Shaq and have a conversation and find out where they went wrong, why Shaq was crying after he told her he wanted a divorce. And so, I don't know. I had high hopes for Kirsten and Shaq. I really did. I thought they could have been a successful couple like most of the couples from the past seasons that are still married. But I think Shaq was too in his head. And hopefully, time apart has allowed him to see what he's lost in Kirsten, because I think Kirsten is great. She had her issues when she was stuck on the hair issue, but I think once she got over that, she really did seem to appreciate Shaq. Mac tells the guys that he's interested in Gina and they've agreed for a long distance thing. Dom says she feels vindicated because he's moving back as she suspected he would. He wasn't interested in maintaining his roots in Nashville. He says Max says, "Oh, the reason why I'm moving is because my marriage didn't succeed." And it's like, well, you're now in a relationship with Gina. If you're that interested in pursuing things with her, why not stay in Nashville and see how far that goes? I don't think he was that serious. I think he was just there to give it a go, and he was hoping to get someone who'd be willing to move with him. And when Dom refused to move and decided to opt for a divorce, that sort of shocked him. Jasmine is talking about, oh, she's out there, she's dating her friend boy. It's like she's making too much noise about this guy. I don't think it's a real relationship. I really don't. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, Iris has got Duchess, and Clint has got Gina's dog Hank. And Iris is telling the guys that he looks forward to continuing to see Duchess, and Jasmine is like, nah, this is it. It's coming to an end. He won't be having my dog anymore. And it's like, oh my God, she should have told him this because now he's actually going to be heartbroken. I think Eris realizes what he lost. I think he does. And I don't think he has the right tools or equipment to sort of help him navigate his way back to Jasmine. If I were him, I would go to counseling. I would get as much help as I can. Once I get my crap in order, I would go after Jasmine because Jasmine, I think, is an amazing woman. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I think if there were any couples that should have stayed married, it should have been Eris. If Eris had put in the work and not focused on, I'm not attracted to her, I think he should have stayed with Jasmine. And I think Kirsten should have stayed with Shaq. And the two couples would have been very successful. I don't know about Kirsten and Chris. I really don't know about them. But anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next time. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.